Breaking news, I saw him with someone else. Xiaozhan reacts to Wangyibo'S late-night photo going viral. The internet exploded last night, but not in celebration. Instead, it was heartbreak, betrayal, and confusion that swept across timelines and fandoms when a single photo, blurry, grainy, and devastating, surfaced online. In the dead of night, Wangyibo, the man who just weeks ago confessed, "I still love him," in a tearful televised interview, was spotted holding hands with a mystery man outside a luxury restaurant in Seoul. And within hours, Xiaozhan saw it too. What happened next? No one was ready for it. The photo that broke a million hearts. It was 1:17 a.m. Korea Standard Time, when a local Seoul blogger, known for celebrity street photos, uploaded what looked like a casual sighting, Wangyibo exiting a restaurant with a man no one recognized. They were dressed low-key, caps, oversized hoodies, masks, but one detail was impossible to miss. They were holding hands. And not the kind of hold that says friendship. Fingers interlaced. Tight grip. Familiar. Intimate. But the moment that detonated fandom servers came 2 minutes later, when another angle, this time from a passing car dashcam, captured Wangyibo turning, smiling softly at the man, and pulling him closer. Fans were stunned. Some screamed in disbelief. Others cried. The man's identity still unconfirmed. But the image had already gone viral in 15 countries. Xiaozhan's team tried to contain him. According to an insider from Xiaozhan's management agency, the actor was in the middle of a rehearsal in Hangzhou when he got the notification. He stepped out just to check something on his phone and never returned to the stage. He locked himself in his dressing room for almost an hour. People were knocking, his manager begged him to open the door, the source said. But all we heard was a crash. Later, someone saw a framed picture on the floor, shattered glass everywhere. It was of him and Wangyibo, from their Kyoto trip. When Xiaozhan finally emerged, his eyes were red. But he said nothing. Not yet. A private conversation, caught on camera. Hours later, Xiaozhan was seen arriving alone at a rooftop bar he used to frequent with Wangyibo. But what shocked fans wasn't his presence, it was his phone call, caught on camera by a bystander seated nearby. The footage, shaky and poorly lit, captured Xiao speaking into his phone with a trembling voice. "You said you'd give me time, not give up." A pause. "If this is how you wait for someone, Wangyibo, you never loved me at all." He ended the call, slammed the phone on the table, and buried his face in his hands. Backlash, confusion, and theories. Fandoms erupted into civil war. Some claimed the man in the photo was a cousin, a bodyguard, even a manager. Others pointed to timestamps, body language analysis, and lip-reading from the dashcam clip that allegedly caught Wangyibo saying, "It's been a while, hasn't it?" A quote that only deepened suspicions. "I believed him when he said he still loved Xiaozhan," one fan tweeted. "But now he's out here smiling like nothing ever happened." Another wrote, "If this is how you behave after a national heartbreak interview, you're either lying, or moving on way too fast." Then Xiaozhan spoke. At 8:42 p.m. Central Standard Time, Xiaozhan broke his silence with a 7-word post on Weibo. "I saw him with someone else. Goodbye." That was it. No tagging. No emojis. No edits. Just finality. And in those 7 words, millions felt the air leave their lungs. Within minutes, fans flooded his page. Hashtag I saw him with someone else. Hashtag Xiaozhan heartbreak. Hashtag Wangyibo explain this. All trended worldwide. A friend reveals Xiaozhan's true breakdown. A longtime friend of Xiaozhan anonymously reached out to reporters with chilling details of what happened behind closed doors. He collapsed after writing that post. Just full-on dropped to the floor. His team tried to help him up, but he kept whispering, "I waited. I waited, why didn't he?" The friend continued. This wasn't about jealousy. Xiaozhan's not petty. It was betrayal. That photo felt like someone ripped open a wound he'd only just managed to stitch together. Inside Wangyibo'S silence, why hasn't he responded? Despite the worldwide backlash and Xiaozhan's public pain, Wangyibo has not made any statement. Not on Weibo. Not on Instagram. Not through his agency. Nothing. Even stranger, his personal assistant was seen boarding a flight to Jeju Island this morning, where a boar was last known to be healing at a private retreat. Speculation is rampant. Was the man in the photo a rebound? A misinterpreted moment? Or is this the end of a boar's heartbreak saga? A source close to his circle said, "He's in shock. He didn't think the photo would explode like this. But more than that, he didn't think Xiaozhan would react the way he did." The unsent draft. According to a leak from Xiaozhan's WeChat archive, there was a draft message he typed shortly before posting the 7-word bombshell. "I wanted to believe the way you held me still meant something. I wanted to believe the interview was real. But seeing you with him made it clear. I was loving a memory. Not a man." He never posted it. But the internet saw it anyway. And they haven't stopped crying since. The photo that reveals everything. An unreleased image, captured just 2 seconds before the now famous handhold photo, surfaced through an anonymous Reddit account. It shows Wangyibo looking over his shoulder, toward the camera. Some believe he saw the flash. That he knew the world was watching. That maybe, he wanted to be seen. A chilling quote from a photographer went viral alongside it. "No one lets go of a love like Xiaozhan unless they've seen something that changes everything. I still wore his scent," Xiaozhan's off-the-record comment. According to a crew member on the set of his latest drama, Xiaozhan confessed something heartbreaking while sitting alone during a break. He pulled at his collar, leaned toward the crew member, and whispered, "I still wear his scent when I miss him. I wore it last night. I guess I was trying to feel close." The crew member reportedly excused herself to cry in the bathroom. The world's most tragic timing. Only 24 hours before the photo scandal broke, Xiaozhan had been seen visiting a jewelry store in downtown Shanghai. What did he purchase? A simple silver ring. Custom engraved. Rumor has it the engraving reads, Y plus X equals always. He never gave it to a boar. Now it sits on a glass shelf. Unworn. Unclaimed. What comes next? Xiaozhan's team has confirmed he's pulled out of 2 upcoming events and entered a temporary retreat. He needs time to recover from emotional distress, they said. Meanwhile, Wangyibo remains silent. Whether that silence is guilt, calculation, or grief, no one knows. But one thing is certain, the photo has changed everything. Fans divided, but still hoping. Despite the pain, betrayal, and the collapse of what many believed was a love destined to last, some fans refused to give up. He looked happy, yes, one wrote, referring to a boar. But happy doesn't always mean healed. Maybe he's trying to forget. Maybe he can't. Another fan countered. If Xiaozhan meant anything to him, he wouldn't be with someone else this soon. End of story. Final words, just pain. As the dust settles from this emotional detonation, one sentence continues to haunt everyone. I saw him with someone else. Goodbye. Not a rage-filled rant. Not a dramatic call-out. Just raw, quiet devastation. And now, the world waits. Will Wangyibo speak? Will Xiaozhan ever forgive? Or is this truly, finally, the end? The rooftop bar in Beijing hadn't changed. Same vintage bulbs casting soft gold glows over each table. Same city skyline humming just beyond the glass railing. Same bus stool Wangyibo once pulled out for Xiaozhan when they came here on his birthday, disguised under masks and hoodies. But tonight, Xiaozhan sat alone. His knuckles were white from clutching a nearly empty glass. His eyes, though bloodshot, stayed fixed on the city lights. Motionless. Hollow. As if he was searching for a reason, any reason, to not believe what the world was already screaming at him. He'd seen the photo. He'd watched the dashcam video. He'd replayed that moment, Wangyibo smiling at someone else, so many times, he'd memorized the curve of his jaw when he tilted his head. What hurt most wasn't the smile. It was how familiar it looked. He had smiled at Xiaozhan like that once. Under these very lights. With the same quiet softness that used to mean you're the only one I see. Now it was just recycled. And given to someone else. Across the rooftop, a waiter hesitated before approaching, then gently placed a folded note on Xiaozhan's table. We found this near the bar's private booth earlier, he whispered. It has your name on it. Xiaozhan blinked, confused, then unfolded the small piece of paper. Inside, in unmistakable handwriting. If I could explain, would you listen? Why? His breath hitched. For a second, it felt like the world stopped spinning. Because this wasn't over. Not yet. Backstage at a nearby event venue, Wangyibo stood frozen, phone clutched in his hand, Weibo still open to the post that had shattered everything. I saw him with someone else. Goodbye. He'd read it 50 times. Maybe more. His hands trembled, not because of the backlash, but because he never meant for this to reach Xiaozhan like this. The man in the photo. A colleague. A childhood friend from Wangyibo's trainee days in Korea. Someone who had just lost his father and needed company that night. The handhold. Comfort. Not romance. But the camera didn't know that. And now it was too late. Unless he could get to Xiaozhan before the silence between them turned permanent. Minutes later, Xiaozhan left the bar. He didn't notice the black motorcycle parked across the street. Didn't see the helmet pulled off by a trembling hand. Didn't hear the whisper that followed him like a ghost. Xiaozhan, please. I didn't choose anyone else. But he kept walking. Because when trust is broken in silence, even love's loudest screams feel like whispers in the dark.